how much does it cost to visit Paris? Today we're looking at 5 different hotel options, starting at $100 per night and working our way up to almost $2,000 per night. There is a maneuver for that last 5-star option, so make sure to stay until the end. Big favor, share this with a friend who has Paris on their list, and if you like travel and you want to maximize your upside, then consider subscribing. Our first stop is the Best Western Premier Opera Faubourg.
Opéra Faubourg.
This is about a 15-minute walk from the famous Opera Garnier and the namesake of the hotel. Also right before that is Galeries Lafayette, which is a famous shopping mall in Paris. If your player 2 loves luxury shopping, then this is going to be a great place to drop them off. For me, I really like the cool architecture and the famous dome, and the great views of Paris. Place Vendome is also about a 20-minute walk from the hotel, and a bit past the mall. If you're not used to walking, then it might sound like a lot, but it's a pretty nice walk, and one of my favorite city walks in Paris. Place Vendome has ultra-luxury stores and the flagships for a lot of the big brands. Also a ton of brands that might be a bit more bespoke, like Graf and Vacheron, that are more quiet luxury. The room is surprisingly big and a lot nicer than I would have expected. Maybe a bit dated in some regards, but I think there's a lot of charm to it and it's fine by me. I also really like the balcony area and the ability to look at the city from above, also cool to get some B-roll and nice pictures. The hotel itself is pretty well regarded, and the area itself has a lot of rich history in the arts and, as you'd expect, opera and the theater. There also are a ton of cafes and restaurants nearby, and this is one of the more quintessential Parisian experiences for normal people. As part of the Premier line within Best Western, it is more service-oriented and amenity-focused. Also super accessible to other locations given the nearby metro stations. But yeah, prime location, quaint charm, and the price is right. When we visited, we paid €98 and about 104 after taxes and fees. Our stays in this video are from the 2020 time capsule, and let's look at the exchange rate back then. Doing the math, about 116 USD, which is pretty solid. The average price today is 181, which is a bit more expensive, but there are still some dates in that 130 range, so keep an eye out. The reason we got our upgrade was due to having Best Western status, so we had Diamond Select, which is through top level. Normally, you would need to stay 25 nights per year to get this. The cool thing though of Best Western is that they do let you status match with a lot of other programs, and you can pretty much do this every year. The easiest way to get Hilton status for matching is the Amex Hilton Surpass or the Amex Platinum, which both come with gold. The Amex Platinum also comes with Bonvoy Gold, which is pretty convenient. For IHG Platinum, you'd want to get the Chase IHG Premier. With that said though, upgrades don't always work, and this leads us into hotel number 2. The Best Western Jardin de Cluny. The hotel is on the other side of the river, about 15-minute walk from the other one, and about 30-minute subway or 25-minute car ride. So for this one, we didn't get upgraded, which is fine. The room is pretty standard and enough to open up your luggage, and you might have to hop over it, but it works. The bathroom is surprisingly spacious relative to the rest of the room, and the views aren't the best, but that's fine because there are a lot of other things to see. The hotel is situated in the Latin corner, and it's nearby Notre Dame Cathedral, the Pantheon, some universities, and also the river. A bit quieter and less hustle and bustle than the other side, but a great choice if you're not a fan of shopping. Back then, we paid about €115 when we visited, and adjusting for the currency, about 128 USD. The funny thing is that the hotel technically doesn't exist anymore, or at least they stopped working with Best Western. They did a rebrand to look less corporate, and it does look a lot more boutique, but the price also accounts for this, so you're looking at about $300 per night. Depending on when you go, it might also jump up to almost $400 or $500. Number 3 is Hotel Dominique Vendome. This brings us back to the north side of the river and one of the best locations for visitors. You're about a 5-minute walk to Place Vendome and pretty close to the Louvre and Tuileries Gardens. The room itself is pretty standard but surprisingly spacious, especially if you compare it to number 2. I also really like the color scheme and definitely a fan of the area and the convenience. I'd happily stay here again if the price is right. When we went, it was $152 US, and now prices are closer to about $400. Prices also seem pretty consistent, so not really seeing any cheaper dates coming up like with the other two. Number 4 on the list is the Hilton Paris Opera. It's about 20 minutes north of the last hotel, and it's pretty much on the other side of Galeries Lafayette. It's also close to one of the other main train stations, making it pretty convenient. If you want to get to other parts of Paris, then this can be a great pick. The hotel itself also has a lot of history. It opened back in 1889 as Hotel Terminus, and it was one of the grandest hotels back in the day. Even right now, especially in the main area, you can see that it's still pretty fancy. Definitely worth having a drink or afternoon tea and enjoying the vibes. Key things to look for are the chandeliers and also the intricate moldings. The room itself is pretty solid, and you can see how much space you have to sprawl out and potentially pack things. One really cool touch is that the bathroom floors are heated, making it pretty nice. Also not sure if we were super tired, but one of the more comfortable beds in my memory. If you're coming from the US and you want a bigger hotel room, I'd recommend sticking to a big chain like Hilton. We did get upgraded to a higher floor and a great view due to having Hilton Diamond status from the Amex Hilton Aspire. One cool benefit of Diamond is executive lounge access. We did go in and it was solid, but couldn't really film it because it was a bit too busy. In terms of price, it was the most expensive that we paid out of pocket for this trip at €279. Converting that over, about $311. We did have the option of using Hilton points, but the value didn't really pass my hurdle rate, and to me, I'd rather save my points for opportunities where I get outsized value. So in this case, we paid out of pocket, and that's fine. The average price right now is $469, so a bit tough, but there are some cheaper days in that $344 range, so definitely keep an eye out and might be worth it for the location, larger rooms, lounge access, and probably upgrades. The last one on the list is Park Hyatt Vendome. It's about 15 minutes back down from the Hilton, and if you are into luxury shopping, it's one of the best picks, being 3 minutes away from Place Vendome. Funny enough, most if not all the stores do deliver to the front desk, and yeah, super convenient if you are buying a ton of stuff. Park Hyatt is one of the more storied hotels in all of Paris. Along with the location, it's also known for its architecture. The interiors were designed by renowned architect Ed Tuttle. In a lot of ways, it's the epitome of quiet luxury or minimalistic luxury. A lot of use of stones, mahogany, and silk throughout the hotel. The intended goal being understated opulence. There also is a Michelin-starred restaurant here and an awesome courtyard to have a drink or take a meeting. If you want to relax, there's a hot tub, steam room, and sauna. Also a ton of treatment options, but they can get pretty expensive. The spa area is a bit on the small end, but it is solid and I definitely enjoyed it. There also is a pretty nice gym and pretty good for the number of rooms with a ton of new exercise equipment. Didn't really run into people, which is nice, and super modern and what you'd expect from a 5-star hotel. Speaking of which, the Park Hyatt is considered a top 5 hotel in Paris alongside options like the Ritz, Peninsula, and Rosewood.
Hey guys, it's Sebastian and welcome to the Park Hyatt Vendome. This is one of the best redemptions in terms of the value of your points for Chase points and also for Hyatt points. The reason for Chase points is you typically transfer them over to Hyatt to redeem it. It's 30,000 points as of early 2020 and it's typically going to retail for something like $600 to $1,200 depending on when you're here. Quick spin around the room before we get back into the math. So we have a bed, we have some statues. On the wall, we have a Mandy over there doing some research. And TV, table, that's not a table, that's a door. Coffee maker, which was pretty good because I like espresso, and they do provide water at a pretty reasonable rate. So these are going to be free and you can just request them whenever you want more. An espresso, they provide you with 9 and you can request more if you want them. There's also a bunch of different statues which I liked and really creeped Mandy out. One kind of weird thing is that their carpet is actually really new feeling and doesn't feel gross. I feel like a lot of hotels don't really have nice carpet, so that's oddly interesting. We had some welcome gifts and a note from the GM. Mrs. Hong, pleasure to welcome you back to your Parisian residence. And also, thank you for your loyalty. There were a bunch of macaroons here, which we ate, which were really good. And also, there was a bottle of champagne. This is going to be the bathroom area. So it is relatively big compared to most other bathrooms in major cities. You have a lot of room to put your wardrobe. This is going to be the shower area, which is also kind of interesting. You have a tub here, and this is going to be the door to the shower. You also have a secondary sink here, which I'm not really sure what it's for. I'm guessing it's for your face and also some soap area over there. Pretty good shower, good water pressure, if that makes sense, if that helps anyone. Didn't use the tub, but it looks pretty comfortable if you want to relax, and the shampoos and stuff were all really good. The white label stuff is fine. I think it's the same stuff that most other hotels use. Sink area as well as toilet over here, and it is a smart toilet. I still think the major draw of this hotel though is going to be the location and the fact that you are close to shopping.
What?
If your main goal is sightseeing, then it might not make sense to stay here.
Back then, we had Discover status, which is the first rung of Hyatt, and we didn't really get any crazy upgrades, but we weren't expecting it either. If you want to see the room that we got a globalist status, then check out the other video. Average price is around 1700 USD per night, which is definitely a ton. Unsurprisingly, we did end up using points for our stay because of the value. It depends on why you travel, but for me, I like trying different things. Sometimes that might be an affordable hotel, and other times one where I get outsized value. There's something about being treated like a VIP even if I'm just a P. I'm also the person that would happily spend 100 or 200 on a Michelin star meal and then go to McDonald's the next day. I still enjoy both meals, but it makes you appreciate the small touches with the premium pick. But yeah, curious what you think and how you travel. On that note, if you want to learn about cards to maximize travel, we have links on the website asksebby.com and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, that the cards make sense for you, but otherwise it is a huge way to support the channel, so thank you guys in advance. If you made it to this point, leave a french fry emoji in the comments down below and I'll try to heart it and also respond. 3 questions. Number 1, how would you rate these options? Number 2, which one would you stay at? And number 3, how do you think about points and travel? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favorite, thumbs up, consider subscribing, but otherwise hope you liked it. See you next time.
Thank you.